Hello everybody, good morning and happy Friday. My name is Erin and I am here today to give you a chair yoga class. So chair yoga is a great option for those of you wanting to maybe start a yoga class or engage in some great strengthening and flexibility moves that don't involve having to get up and down off the floor. So if your balance isn't quite so good or you aren't able to stand for long periods of time, this is a great option. Or even if you are sitting for long periods of time, maybe working at home on your computer, this is another great option to take a little brain break throughout your day and just do some of these moves to help keep the muscles moving and get some energy throughout the body. So the first thing we're gonna do, now I'm practicing barefoot. Feel free to wear shoes if you're more comfortable, or socks. We will be doing a majority of the practice in the chair, but I will show you some standing moves that you can use the chair as a balance for, as another option. So we're just gonna start by resting our hands gently on our thighs. I'd like you to close your eyes and just focus on your breath. Taking deep breath in for a count of 3 and exhaling, and deep breath in and exhale. Now you're inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Really force that air out as you exhale. You can use like an audible as you get that old stagnant air out of your body and breathe in new fresh air. Taking this moment as you focus on this deep relaxing breathing, to seal your lips and let your exhale start coming out your nose. So you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. You should feel that air coming through the back of your throat, making kind of a nice whooshing sound. Start thinking about maybe waves crashing on a beach or a breeze blowing through the leaves, calming the mind, letting all the negative energy melt out of your body. And letting your eyelids flutter open. We're gonna look at how our grounding is. So I'm just gonna back up so you can see my feet. You want your feet, you wanna be in your chair in a way that your feet are planted firmly on the ground. Now, if you are of shorter stature or you're in a taller chair, then maybe place a bench or some yoga blocks or something under your feet so you have a nice supported base. So think about the balls of your feet. I want you to lift your toes up and down. Now, let's lift our heels. And let's alternate that action. Lift the toes, plant the feet through the ball of the foot, lift the heels. Press through the heels, lift the toes, and lift the heels. And one more time, lifting the toes and lifting the heels. And coming back down to that neutral position where your weight is evenly distributed. Your knees are going to be over your ankles. So as you're sitting in your chair, you don't want your feet tucked in like this. We want our knees over our ankles. Our legs are about hip width distance apart and our toes are facing forward. This is going to be our standard base. Starting in mountain pose. In mountain pose, our hands are down by our side. Fingertips are spread wide. Palms are facing forward. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. So you're not hunched up or rounded, but that chest is nice and open. And take 3 deep breaths here in mountain pose. Think of energy coming through your fingertips, through your feet into the ground, out the top of your head as you lengthen that spine and sit tall. Back is nice and straight. Turn it all the way. And we're going to inhale, bringing the arms up overhead, biceps by your ears. Now, if this range of motion is not comfortable for you, you can take them in front of you, keeping that nice straight back, nice solid base, reaching the fingertips long. If you do bring them back over your head, you want to try to maintain that dropped shoulder. So you're pulling the shoulders down, so you're not punching up. Shoulders are down. And exhale, you're going to bring the arms back, finding mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead or out in front of you. Exhale, mountain pose. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Now we're going to inhale the arms up overhead, and we're going to drop the left arm down, keeping the right arm tall, and you're going to lean down over. The left arm's pointing to the floor. Keeping everything square to the front. And up. Exhale, relax. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Lower the right arm and take that lateral flexion. Now this can be done with that arm out in front of you or on your hip if this range of motion is not comfortable for you today. So listen to your body. And inhale, both arms up. Exhale. We're going to come into a forward fold. So you're going to hinge at the hips, taking your body forward slightly. So you're always going to stay in a forward position. I'm going to move side to side just so you can see me. So we're going to hinge at the hips. Hands are going to be resting somewhere in here. If you can take them all the way down to the floor, great. Otherwise, you can just place them on the side of your calves or your knees. And coming back up, inhale, arms overhead, dropping the left arm, taking the right arm to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse, sweeping those arms up and dropping the right arm down, taking that left arm over to the right. Inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and you're going to pull them down into a prayer position, holding them right here, and we're going to take a twist to the left side. Everything's still facing forward. And center, and forward fold. Inhale, sweep up, finding that prayer position at heart center, and taking that twist to the right. So my hips are still forward. I'm lengthened in the spine. And back to center. And fold. Sweep the arms up. And let them come back down into mountain pose. Taking 2 deep breaths here. On our next inhale, we're going to extend the right leg out into a leg balance. Holding for 2 breaths. And release it down. can place your hands on your hips, or you can hold on to the side of the chair, extending the left leg out. And relax it down. Leaning just slightly forward, we're going to raise our arms up into seated chair pose. If you would like to take this a little further, go ahead, lift your hips slightly off the chair. Option to stay seated. And lower down, taking that forward fold. Sweeping the arms up overhead. Coming through heart center, taking a twist to the left. And inhale, center. Arms up, taking that fold. Sweeping the arms up and bringing them down to either heart center or taking them to your hips. Extend that left leg. And lower. Beautiful. Inhale. Forward fold. Sweep the arms up, finding that chair pose option to lift those hips slightly off the chair. So looking just like that, or staying seated in the chair. Option to take the arms straight out in front of you if that's easier on your shoulders. Remember to keep those shoulders down and fold. Sweeping the arms up overhead, finding our prayer, and taking that nice, gentle twist. And center. Keeping the hands right here or taking them down to your hips, extending that right leg out. And lower. And sweeping the arms up, forward fold. This time coming into a halfway lift, bringing your hands to rest gently on your calves, nice straight back, just slightly leaned over, and fold. Sweeping the arms up overhead, one more time, coming into heart center, and taking that twist to the left. Inhale, center, extend that left leg. So it looks just like this. And forward fold. Halfway lift. And fold. Sweep the arms up to that chair. Option to lift those hips. Fold. Sweep the arms up. Finding that prayer position, taking that prayer twist to the right. And center, and extend that right leg out. From here, we're going to drop our hands, and we're going to take that leg. You can assist it if you would like. Seated at the edge of your chair, and you're going to find this pigeon pose. So this toe still facing forward, this leg is crossed over, knee is open. If this doesn't quite work for you, you can just leave that leg on the floor and just let that knee drop open a little bit, just to open up through the hip. So this is a hip opener here. So we're going to keep our hands on our hips and keeping our shoulders back and down, hinge slightly forward. Feeling a nice lengthening and strengthening right through that glute, that hip, down the top of the leg. And we're gonna come up and let's rotate that ankle. Both directions. And placing this leg down, taking our left leg, straightening it out in front of us, and crossing it over, finding that seated pigeon on the other side. Nice long spine, shoulders back, hinging forward at the hips. Beautiful. Coming back up. Go ahead, rotate that ankle. Both directions. And placing that leg down. We're gonna come into our warrior series. So what I would like you to do is turn slightly on your chair, placing one foot on the side, toes facing that way, knee over the ankle in the same direction of the toes. So your bottom is resting on the edge of the chair. You're going to extend this leg behind you. Back leg is relatively straight. Foot is planted on the ground, so it's not rolled forward or rolled back. Foot is planted on the ground. So you can adjust your stance as you need, and then you're going to shift your hips so they're facing the same direction as that front leg. Feel free to use the chair for balance, or you can take those arms overhead to find that warrior one pose. Now once you're nice and stable in this pose, go ahead, open it up so your hips are now facing front. Leg stance is still the same. You still have the knee over the ankle. Arms can be wide. You can still hold on to that chair if you'd like. Hands can be on your hips if you find that more stable. If you want to test your balance, you can go ahead, press into those feet and stand up off the chair. Or you can stay resting on the chair. Just make sure your shoulders and hips are facing to the front, knee out to the side, in alignment with your foot. And we're going to turn to the center, finding a modified or a seated goddess pose. Toes to the corners, knees are in line with the toes, and we're just going to take a nice fold, hinging at the hips. If you would like to take your hands down to the ground, you certainly can. If you have a block or a bench, that would be suitable as well. I have my imaginary block here. I should grab my yoga blocks. Okay. So if you have yoga blocks or a bench or a stack of towels or something, and to come up, you're going to place one hand up, and you're going to hinge, taking your torso up as a unit. Nice job. Go ahead, bring your feet back to center. So if you have the blocks, you can use them, or you can just slide them out of the way. And the left leg forward, finding that alignment, knee over ankle, toes out to the side, knee following the toes. Right leg is straight, that foot is planted on the ground. Finding that warrior one, wherever you'd like those hands to be. I'll keep them down here so you can see my face. And go ahead, open it up to warrior two, hips and shoulders facing front. Option to test your strength and balance if you'd like, and lift up out of that chair. Or feel free to stay back. And slowly shifting into that modified goddess pose. Reaching our hands up overhead. We're going to swing them behind and take a chest opener here. Bringing our feet in, move these blocks aside. We're going to come into some standing poses using the back of the chair for balance. So we're going to firmly plant our feet and see if you can, keeping your hands on your hips, engage that torso and just stand up out of your chair and come back behind the chair. So we're facing the chair, hands resting slightly on the chair and using it for balance. First thing we're going to do is we're going to step back with one foot, then the other, coming into our downward facing dog. Inhale, look up and step to the top, swinging our arms up overhead and back down, stepping back with the other foot, and once again finding our downward dog. And looking forward, step one foot, then the other. Arms up overhead and finding mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring them to the chair, stepping your right, then your left, finding your downward facing dog.
Gonna be this one.
Inhale, look forward. Exhale, take that right foot and step it forward into a modified low lunge, holding the chair. From here, step back into that down dog. And then stepping your right, then your left, coming up. And sealing in mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, stepping back your left foot, then your right into downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping your left foot forward into modified lunge. Holding it here. If you want to test your balance, you can release however you'd like. And stepping back into down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, stepping with the right, then the left foot. Sealing that movement in mountain pose. From here, we're going to come into our warrior series. So I'm going to turn so you can see me. Finding our warrior one. Hips are forward, holding on to the chair. Now, if standing is not a good option for you, you can do this in the seated position as we did earlier in the video. So go ahead, take one arm up, testing your balance with the second. Open it up to warrior two. Always the option to hold on to that chair for balance. Turning to center. You're going to sink down into that goddess pose. Option to hold your arms out to the side or leave them on the chair. And straighten the legs. finding warrior two, turning this way and sinking down, finding warrior one on the other side. Open it up, warrior two. Option to keep holding onto that chair or test your balance. Make sure this leg is bent, hips are still facing forward. And coming to center position. Just taking a slight hinge here. Inhale up. Turning to the side, keeping our legs straight. So as you can see, my legs are straight. We're going to come into triangle pose. So still facing forward, legs are straight, hips are forward. You're going to take your hand down and rest it on your chin. This hand, or shin. This hand resting comfortably on the back of the chair, or you can release it. And bringing that hand back down, coming back up. Turning so both feet are facing this way, nice and straight, taking it into a modified pyramid pose. Resting your hand gently on that leg. Nice stretch through the entire back of the leg. Always have a nice soft micro bend in that knee so you're not hyperextending the joints. Inhale, center, and taking it to the other direction in that triangle pose. And facing forward, you're just going to tip the body over. Hand can be on the hip, hand can be on the chair, or up to the sky. See if you can turn and look up to that sky. And coming back, facing to the side, shifting the hips so they're facing this direction. Go ahead, taking that modified triangle pose. Now another way to do this is to use that chair like this. And coming up, if that chair is back like this. And we're going to come back around into a seated position on the chair. All right, nice job. We're going to go ahead, pull it down, starting with the neck, taking our right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center. Left ear to left shoulder. Relax the shoulders down. And center. Taking our right leg and straightening it out in front of us. So you can slide to the edge of your chair. You're going to slightly hinge at the hips. Feeling a nice stretch through the right side of the body. And coming back up, extending the left leg long and hinge forward. Nice, deep, relaxing breath here. And inhale, come up, bringing the feet together. You're gonna let the knees fall open like a butterfly, seated butterfly. And you can just slide the feet in. You can just leave it right here, or you can hold on to the back of the chair and just kind of hinge forward slightly. Be careful, because you're a little top heavy here, that you're not falling forward. Inhale, back. Go ahead, extend that right leg back out. Cross the left over the right. You can leave that leg bent if you'd like. Either way. And inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, take that right hand, place it on the outside of that left leg. And unwrap, back to center. Crossing the right over the left. Lengthen the spine and twist. And back to center. Taking those legs in a straddle position, once again, holding onto the back of the chair. Be careful that you don't become too top heavy. So, and just take a nice opening here. If flexibility allows, you can go ahead, take it down to the floor, but for the most part, okay. Go ahead, take your feet into a straddle position, opening them as wide as you can. Holding on to the back of the chair. The edge of your backside is seated on the chair. And just find a nice stretch in the inner thigh. You can hold the bottom of the chair if you want. And coming back in. We're going to hug one knee and the other knee. Taking our arms out in front of us, flex, and point the wrists. Rotate them each direction. And placing our hands gently on our legs, taking 3 deep cleansing breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Using this moment to focus on the positivity and the light you have in your life. Knowing that the sun is shining and we have made it through another week. Go ahead, fluttering your eyes open. Bring your hands to heart center. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in each and every one of you. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be able to guide you through these practices each and every week. Bowing forward and close. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this chair yoga practice. Feel free to continue watching this page for more fun videos and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.